share stuff.
Mike is hot, so just be careful what you say.
I know.
We do like the Republicans, the most popular.
Yeah.
No, it's in the middle. Yes, that's right. Trump's always in the middle. So
I haven't seen. I want to see that tonight. I'm
Last
gonna see
night
stuff about.
Oh yeah.
I can't watch one of those full things. I gotta look at
Yeah,
the
that's
highlights. Just get my text. Like where you are.
come on.
So I thought you were doing this today. Like where are you? Cheat sheet.
Yes, yes, okay.
you have prepared notes.
I have like research from people that I don't. I mean, I don't do this, so I just need their what they do. I can't remember all of them.
What I do. Did it
I'm
yesterday.
getting to be too old to like it's too much crap sticking in here all the time. No, he wasn't filming at this particular scene. I saw just like extras, tons of extras. I know. I was like, hey, no, it's
Biology is going to go first.
okay.
So you
Congrats.
you are the first.
How are you?
All right.
I'm good.
Do you want me to go first? Is that okay, Kim? And then you go?
Okay.
Okay.
Number 4. Perfect. Good stuff. I'm okay with that.
25 years.
Quite some years, right? Good.
And then you got after computer science.
Okay, so it's gonna be biology first and chemistry.
I know.
Totally didn't prepare you.
The only reason I got this is because I can't remember their research.
You've done my
Okay,
else's
so we
research,
said
but
in order.
talk
That's
about
good.
mine. Let's talk about hers.
Exactly.
Math.
What is the math?
His car broke down
Oh my God.
this morning. He was gonna come and have lunch with me. So I have a graduate student who's joining NJD.
Oh, good.
And so he worked at Carson, like that engineering company, and then
What?
he's switching to NJD.
No, they're light. They don't respond at all.
They're not polarizing almost at all.
The end of last week.
Maybe it's the type of
Next
light.
week he's starting at
Maybe
It's
the
fluorescent light. I think fluorescent light doesn't do it.
and then his car broke down.
It's gotta be radiant light. It's radiant light that makes them react. Are you like impressed that I know that?
Sounds like you know spectroscopy.
Student perspective.
No.
3 minutes to start.
Because he is actually the best candidate for
Alright.
this. After he
Are you
did
ready to go?
research with me
Finish
on
early.
GIS,
Is that okay?
he started to
fine.
pick up,
Even better.
a lot of things.
I do chemistry. Any
All
questions?
the jobs he's done over the
I
past
do
3
chemistry.
years.
Good enough?
He's a crazy kid. He actually got 1, 2, 3, 4 jobs.
He's
All
gonna tap
4
on the
jobs
end.
are
Tap on the
GIS
next
specialists.
sentence out.
That's
Amazing.
fine.
You stop mid-sentence.
I will stop right in the middle of a word if I have to.
About anything.
You know what I think about? Oh, time's up.
Computer
Oh,
science
that's
is not
what I'm
here.
coming down.
Uh-oh, computer science doesn't come in. You just get an extra 20 seconds.
It's psoriasis. I have it on 3 right now. It doesn't
I don't
come.
want it.
I have it really bad on my leg. It does. But this isn't for, this is just itching from my leg. I have to go back to the dermatologist. Is this on? Can they listen to me talk about my psoriasis? Anyone can
Please,
talk about my
I don't
psoriasis?
hear it. So, I mean, I hear it because I'm right next to you. But I don't know.
We need to get that going. Yeah.
The chemistry
Kevin was there
group
talking
sitting,
about
hiding in the
Costa
back corner.
It's because they're chemistry
Oh,
students.
that's right. They have pre-chem exam and have Can I get up and walk to the front of the stage with the mic like it's open mic night? Anybody here from Kane University? Oh, that should
A
be
great
sit in
opening.
front.
That would be a great
That's
opening.
right.
That's not been resolved. So he doesn't
Chief
know
officer.
All right.
She's in the front.
it's not been resolved
Yeah,
yet.
she's up there in the front. Good. Hi.
Whenever gives us the ready to start.
I think she's just late sophomore, early junior. Lower baby on that. Instead of using my time, we'll just quiz her. She wouldn't be, the thing is, it wouldn't mortify her. I think other people must be writing really embarrassed. Like, Amy, I call Amy out.
Halfway
You
through,
know, say,
even
my
worse
research
now.
is, Amy, I go for it.
Semester is gonna be over very
I
soon.
get way back. She's way back.
The strawberry. And the strawberry in the back.
Maybe I'll make some.
Especially this going on.
Really nice.
Under the desk, she's like almost
I know.
So I'll put them together. I can, he'll do all the talking, and Amy can just hide behind him. He's tall, so Amy can just literally stand behind him all the time.
Those are good. Those are.
Yeah.
Tropical ecology. I actually have to check that out.
Oh, yeah, yeah. At least once a year we see.
Hmm?
It's not like Pat's been later.
We have 12 chairs.
She forgot.
You can't
It's not like Pat to forget.
No, but maybe she did.
Super one.
Uh-oh, who's this guy?
there is a chair there or
There is a picture of him.
I don't think I know.
Pat is coming.
What's his name?
So Kim is
No way.
back to Rotella. She's coming from Rotella.
Oh, shipped over here.
That's right. There's students out there somewhere.
Well, I mean, 9 years.
Aimed right at my eyes.
That's a good thing, because then you don't feel like you're like talking to anybody if you can't see anything.
Yeah, this is bad.
Is it? You need to see people?
Yeah.
I just look above the top of their heads all the time anyway, unless they ask me something directly. And then I'll answer the question directly. But like in terms of lecturing, I'm always looking at them. It's like an actor thing. I'm always looking at the top of their heads above there, because when you're on stage, that's what you do.
Her again.
When I look out on, yeah, whenever you see an actor look out into like looking in the room, unless they're super comfortable.
I
Still
Like
looking
even if they look like they're looking at you like they're actually looking at your seat. They're looking at an inanimate object.
I
They're
used to-
not.
when
But
I
you
acted
can't
in high
tell
school-
that because it looks like you have the same race eye.
When I was in high school, I used to act. I used to talk to the back of the room, like above people's heads when I was nervous.
Whenever I have to break the fourth wall and talk out like into the audience, it's always the one just above their heads. If you look too high, then
Yeah,
it's
it
like
looks
you're looking at
ridiculous, yeah.
you're talking to the lights.
What's going on
But
over
if
there?
you're like looking at the top of their head, and you don't actually see these, just see the top of their heads, and it will make you nervous. But there she is.
Pat. You weird.
What'd she say?
Well, they go, you're sitting
That is good that I'm only on one day.
You were here.
Only for 1 day.
All right.
So I will work as a, student. Well, I have been working as
Oh.
You just want to sit down on the back.
That's one of the better ones.
You know what, if I went to Benedict, I would go to the last play.
You've seen a lot of Benedict Cumberbatch?
Let's start. Start. We can start. Okay, thank you. All right. I am Wolde Wubner. I am the coordinator of the LSAM program. And thank you for coming, and it's a wonderful occasion. I want to tell you a little bit about the history of the LSAM program. The LSAM stands for Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. Louis Stokes is a congressman from Ohio who was elected 26 consecutive times in Congress. So essentially lived in Congress 52 years, essentially. So the federal government set up this NSF grant in his honor. The idea is to help unrepresented students participate in science and mathematics. That's the whole idea. So we are part of an alliance of 9 state colleges. We are just one of them. We have been at Kane campus since 2009. We have been very successful in producing students with, with research idea. This cannot be done without the help of the faculty. The science and mathematics faculty have been supportive of this program since its initial start. And the faculty is not paid, they're not paid, zero paid, right? We're not paid. We're very happy that you're here. The number of students now this year is 267. We want to increase it all the way to 600. I think it would be possible. This year, we are adding the architecture students and students of management science. So they will be participating in the future. Over the past couple of years, the number of LSAM students doing research, showing posters at the Kane Research Day a couple of years ago was 40, last year it was 39, and I expect this year also to increase as many participate. So we have an office at the Bruce building, Bruce 200D. We have a staff of 2 academic specialists. They're not here, but Solange is here, yes. And we have 5 work study students and 1 coordinator. Now, in today's event, we're going to talk about research opportunities and graduate studies for the future and your careers. Suppose you want to do career in your area. There are representatives from each department. Some of them are executive directors. Some of them are regular faculty. And we are very happy they are all here. I'll introduce you first. Just when I call your name, just wave your hand. Everybody knows who you are. I'll first introduce biological sciences, Dr. Patrick Fields. There you go. Dr. Kim Spaccarotello. Wave, right? Okay. Then we have Dr. Matthew Mongelli. There you go. Dr. Heather Stokes-Hubby. There you go. And now computer science, Dr. Patricia Morial. There you go. And Miguel Mostiero. And then in a School of Environmental Science and Life Sciences, Dr. Feng Qi. There you go. Dr. Daniela Shebets. All right. And then we have the Earth's Atmosphere and Ocean Sciences. We have Dr. Kikombo Ngoy. And then finally, not less lastly, the School of Mathematical Sciences. We have 2, Dr. Louis Bougri. There you go. And then we have Dr. Mahmoud Afuf. Each one will speak for 2 to 3 minutes. And then at the end of the talks, or all of us have finished, you can ask us questions. There's a microphone on the left hand and on the right hand. You can come and talk of it, or would have the assistant to carry the microphone to you. So I will ask Dr. Patrick Fields to speak first.
Oh. Yep, okay. All right, so I'm going to talk briefly about the programs that we have that prepare people for the PA, PT, and OT programs, as well as talk about some of the research in our department. The first thing I'm going to talk about is a brand new course program that we have called the BS in Biology Health Professions option. This was actually designed partially using the directors of the Kane programs in physical therapy, physician assistant, and occupational therapy to design this particular program. So the way it works is that all the students do a core, a common core with each other, and then there's going to be a specialty that's going to be directed to each of those individual programs. And so again, with the input from each of these directors, this is the optimal sort of preparation that they're looking for students to be able to go through this program and then apply to the programs here on campus. As you know, the OT program is up and running. It's been here for a while. PT starts accepting applications this fall. They'll have their first group or their cohort start in summer of 2016. The new PA program on campus is going to start accepting applications in the fall of 2016 with their first group starting in the summer of 2017. So it's happening rather rapidly. Another program we have is a BA in Biology that is a pre-PA program, which is what I advise for, and this is particularly geared towards sophomores that want to apply to our Rutgers program. We have a 3+3 program with them, and again, it's only for students that reach the sophomore status. But the good news about it is if you don't get into the Rutgers program, you're not going to be penalized. It will actually prepare you to be able to apply to a PA program when you graduate. So those are the programs that I want to speak in terms of like towards graduate study. The other thing I would like to talk about is some of the research that goes on in our department. Dr. Amy Sprinkle, who is our resident ecologist, she has independent study students. She's using camera traps to determine the relative abundance of small mammals on the grounds at Liberty Hall. The other research she has is establishing the baseline population of brown bats and installing bat boxes on the campus of Liberty Hall. If you know Dr. Sprinkle, she's always taking students on camping trips. She's very much into the sort of Sierra Club vein of things. Dr. Roxy James, she was in Costa Rica also with Dr. Shebitz, who was one of her program in Costa Rica at the Mankanke National Rainforest. Basically, Dr. James works a lot with howler monkeys, and so she actually goes into the rainforest and actually does things like she tracks them, she looks at numbers and species and genders of monkeys. She's been doing this for a long time, and she's just started getting into that research, so there's probably going to be some opportunities for that in the future. She also does a lot of independent research with other students. Some of the things she's done here is she's worked with plague, a swift assassin, disappearing marine iguanas, and finally Dr. Poo does also work with genetics.
Thank you. Dr. Kim Spakarat Rotela.
So I'll mention first some of my research, and most of my research focuses on nutrition. We've had some recent projects looking at post-exercise recovery and the use of chocolate milk as a recovery beverage. We had several students presenting at Research Day last year about that. And I actually see some of my current LSAMP students here in the audience, which is great. We have a couple who are working right now on helping us learn what sorts of resources are available currently to help our future doctors and physical therapists, physician's assistants, keep themselves up to date on nutrition and also teach their patients. And going forward, we're hoping to develop resources that will really empower our health professionals to teach more effectively about nutrition. So those are some of the areas that my research focuses on. I'd like to mention two other programs that we offer that students often ask me about when they come in for advising. They often say, I've heard you have a BA in biology and also a BS in cell and molecular biology. What are the differences? Is one better than the other? And so I want to mention a couple of highlights about those two. I would say first off, it's not that one is better and the other isn't. They are a little bit different, but in the end we've had students be very successful with both of them. The key is really to do well in the courses you take. If you're looking into a graduate program, make sure you see what prerequisites are required and take those. Take advantage of the research opportunities you have. All of those will give you a very strong resume and a transcript to put forth when you are applying to grad school. So our BA in biology has a few extra areas for free electives. We usually recommend that for students who want to do a minor. It gives you flexibility to do a minor. That could be in chemistry, it could be in something like psychology, it could really be in any area that you want to minor in. And the GPA requirements are also a little bit different. It has a 2.5 GPA as the requirement. The BS in biology has a 3.0, so that's a difference. The Bachelor of Science in Cell and Molecular Biology also has more options for biology lab-based courses. So where you have more free electives in the BA in biology, you have more options to take bio prefix courses that have labs in them. So you probably couldn't do a minor and finish in 4 years as easily. You don't have that space in the BS in bio. So that's the major difference in terms of graduate school. It really really in the end depends on how well you've done. I'm sorry, I guess I was talking over time. I apologize.
Dr. Matthew Mongelli.
Hi. I've been lucky enough to work with LSAM students now for about, I think 4 or 5 years now. I've had LSAM students work in my lab, which has been great. I'll talk about my research in a second, but one of the reasons I like having LSAM students, they work really hard. They're always there every week. I have two right now. One is in the back of the room. but they always work really hard, and it's nice to have those kinds of students around. It's also been great because I've taken students to National American Chemical Society meetings, and LSAM's actually helped us out getting students to those meetings. Last year we took I took an LSAM student out to Denver to present the research he was working on in my group. So it's been great for LSAM for that. We've also presented at Kane Research Day as well, which is great. My research focuses on inorganic chemistry. Really what I'm interested in doing, I've been interested in for a long time, is looking at building inorganic molecules using ruthenium, which is a metal in the periodic table, and building these molecules so they have the ability to do two things. They can bind to DNA, and theoretically they can photocleave DNA, and what that's called is photodynamic therapy, where you take a molecule and you attach it to DNA, you shine light on it, and the molecule can actually go through a conversion and cut the DNA up. And they use this already as a type of cancer research. Cancer treatment. They use a molecule called photofrin for skin cancer, which is light activated. So it's a molecule that isn't dangerous under normal circumstances, but when it's in the presence of light, it can activate and it can do damage to the cells. So that's the kind of research I work on. I also do a project this semester. I've started working on a project looking at creating biofuels from cooking oils that stemmed out of a project I worked on with Dr. Teasdale a few years back using algae to create biofuel, and we're hoping to kind of move back into that. So we've been able to do some research in a couple of different areas, which has been great. As for the program, we have our BS and our BAs. We've been very lucky. A lot of our students have gone on to do really good work. We have students that go off into industry, work at big name pharmaceutical companies like Johnson & Johnson and Merck, other industrial companies. We also have a lot of our students go off and go to graduate school. We have students right now at Notre Dame, Iowa, she graduated from Iowa, but UCLA, Rutgers, NJIT, a lot of different places we've been very lucky to have students go to. So we've been very successful, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Did I reach you?
Dr. Heather Stokes.
I'll use the mic. It's all part of the fun.
Oh, you
No,
don't?
I don't need that. I can project my voice. My name's Heather Stokes, UB. I'm also from the chemistry department. I have had LSAM students in the past. The latest project that I had for an LSAM student was a joint project. We had management students and we had chemistry students. And the management students investigated how a company back in the Revolutionary War times, how it survived the Revolutionary War from a management and business point of view. And my chemistry student actually prepared the paint, which is what the business was about. They actually prepared the paint as it was done back in the 1700s. So that's just the latest of the LSAM that I've done. So I've done a variety of projects. I am an organic chemist, and my current project is to use transition metals using Buchwald and hopefully almond and a couple other reactions to prepare biologically active compounds, which will then, after I've made them, my students and I have made them, they will go across the hall and be tested in a biology lab. So that's our current project, but like I said, I'm open to other LSAM projects.
Thank you. Dr. Patricia Morial.
Actually, I'm going to have my colleague Miguel Mostero start out. I think you've had the most recent LSAM student in our department.
Okay. Hi, my name is Miguel Mostero. I'm from computer science. I have had LSAM students in the past. I do research on algorithmic problems in radio networks and distributed computing. And both of them were very successful. One of them afterwards went to grad school as a PhD student. Another one got twice an REU research experience for undergraduates funded by the NSF. So in both cases, they were very successful. But of course, these are not the only successful stories in our department. Research opportunities are great, I think, for every student. Even if you are not planning to go to grad school, it gives you, an opportunity of experience what research is, because sometimes we wonder before doing it. Actually, we wonder what is that, right? And also, I want to emphasize the opportunity that means to have a LSAMP on campus here to help you. They are going to provide the guidance, and it's really great if you are decided to do grad school. They are going to help you in preparing for that, and otherwise they will guide you on what is this research about. And from your perspective, I would say, I guess this will be one of your questions, but from your perspective, I would say the most common question probably is, how do I figure out what I want to do research on? And within your area, there might be many, many problems that you can attack. And basically what I suggest is just to try to explore or try to get information about all the problems that your faculty are working on, and try to choose something that you like. If you just do something as a requirement, you will feel miserable soon. So you should try to do something that you think you will like, although of course you don't know it until you do it. So that is my take, I think.
No, I completely agree. Great illustrations of projects. We also have some work underway in human-computer interface. That's been another area that our students have done very well in. Lately, we've been working with the brain-computer interface. It's something that sits on the head, and we've been trying to control some drones with it. So those are things that the computer science and information technology students are tackling right now, in addition to the other exciting projects that Dr. Mostero mentioned. So that's computer science, and also we have a degree in information technology, both very active, expanding fields for research.
Thank you. Dr. Frankie?
Okay, so we are the environmental and sustainability sciences. With that, we basically study everything in the environment. That includes air, like Hurricane Joaquin. We study the water pollution. We study invasive species, ecology, and we study data because, you know, we are interdisciplinary. We study all these things, and we study them in different ways as well. Some of us actually tend to go out to the field and collect data of air and water and soil and plants and species. Some of us just hide behind computers and kind of analyze those data. Or, you know, the data could be collected by our colleagues or students like you guys, or by satellites. Kikambo can talk about more on that and his research. So I actually have another point that I want to talk about today. I actually originally wanted to bring one of my students who graduated 3 years ago today, but his car broke, so he couldn't make it. I'm going to talk in his voice. Actually, his voice is, you know, is a boy. So, so he actually graduated 3 years ago, right? And he's actually, the reason why he can, originally he could come, was that he left his current job, or last job, at Parsons, which is a huge engineering company. And he's actually starting his new job at NJDEP next week. So he has this week as a gap, and that's why I invited him, right? And this NJDEP job is his 4th job after he graduated 3 years ago. I know he's crazy, right? So he's landed jobs at, his first job was actually NJDEP, Department of Environmental Protection. And then his second job was PSENG, which is this major power company in New Jersey. And then third job is Parsons, this engineering company. And the 4th one, again, is NJDEP. Obviously, there's a promotion involved, right? That's why he's going back. Now, the point I want to make is, how did he land all these 4 jobs, right? He's crazy. He's changing jobs all the time. But the point is, he could get the job offers. So then his story is actually, he started the second semester of his sophomore year. He started working with me on research projects. So my area is GIS, Geographic Information Systems. I'm one of those who hide behind computers to analyze my colleagues' data. So we use computers to map out things. And so the student worked with me, mapped out travel times from all these different towns to New York City. And he worked with me on mapping out infectious disease like influenza in a Chinese city. So we were using this computer tool to map out all these interesting environmental or human phenomena. And therefore, he was able to build, for the last 2 years, he was at Kean, a very beautiful, good-looking portfolio, and thick as well, because he was able to make all these mapping exercises, you know. And so with that portfolio, he was able to land his first job, and all 4 jobs, obviously, he has a title, GIS specialist. So my point is obvious. You know, he didn't know that he was going to end up doing GIS, but he started working with a faculty member on a research project, and he found his passion, he found his interest, and he was building upon that initial passion. And he was able to land jobs after, you know, this research experience. That's why I encourage all of you to start thinking seriously about research, and that can help you not only, you know, finishing your study here, but also in your future career endeavors.
Thank you. Dr. Daniela Shibetz.
Okay. Hi. Thank you so much for coming. This is really fun to see you guys all here, and I commend you because this is a really big step, is to understand that as undergraduate students, research is a really important thing, as is getting involved with a National Science Foundation opportunity like LSAMP. So this is something really commendable to you, and it shows that you will take that initiative and kind of take it with you on your next step. And hopefully that's graduate school. So research is key to that. It's key to finding what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and who you want to become professionally. And you're getting an early start, and that's really, really important. For me, I've been involved with the LSAM program for a few years as well, and some of my LSAM students are here. We've been also very fortunate to be funded by NSF to go to have an REU and to take some students to Costa Rica over the past few years. And so we've gone to study, I look at the effects of people on their environment. And so I take that sort of trend and I look at either our own backyards here in New Jersey, where it's easy to see people's effects on the environment, and also in Costa Rica. And I look at that dynamic. So how do we use the environment sustainably, whether it's for medicinal plants or traditional kind of traditions as well. So a lot of my work kind of spans cultures and spans landscapes. But I'm one of those people who likes to get my hands dirty, and so and get in the rainforest and kind of really be part of it. Not so comfortable in the lab, and that's why it's great to have friends who are. So research can't be done by yourself, and it really is that collaborative effort, and it's also really great to find something that you're very passionate in. So my work here is in the Department of Environmental and Sustainability Science, and I oversee the environmental biology option of biology, which is a Bachelor of Science in Biology, but with an environmental focus. And also I oversee the Sustainability Science program as well, which is kind of, it shows people how to design strategies to try to mitigate our damages that we're having on the environment through embracing things like technology and also just field ecology as well, integrating all of the factors together.
Thank you. I have seen her rain boots. I can witness that. All right. The next person is Dr. Kikombo Ngoy.
Thank you. We are all in the same school, environmental and sustainability sciences. The advantage of environmental and sustainability is that it is at a crossroad. It is transdisciplinary. What it is we have so many disciplines together. Why that? Because that's how life is. Life is not a set of different disciplines. All different disciplines are kind of getting together exactly at the same time. That's how we are trying to look at all these things. So what is the advantage of environmental science? In part, you can look at the research aspect they talked about. Last year, I worked with a student who was trying to map out invasive species to kind of try to know the pattern, why they are distributing this way, what are the things that are making them to spread out. So that student didn't finish, another one is taking over now. So the point is you can start a project. Maybe within your time here, you might not finish it. Another one would probably take it over. The other lesson is that if you have an idea, just come and approach one of the faculty in environmental science and say, I'm thinking about this. I think it was also suggested here. I'm thinking about this. How can I do research on that? So why do we emphasize research? In part because we want you to have a better portfolio. That's one thing, so that you can land a good job. But the other part is if you want to continue at the graduate school level, this is a very good tool. We have had a student, the case here that has been illustrated, because when you did the research, you can go to graduate school, and when you do your master's, let's say in 2 years, chances are that you can get a better job than a bachelor. So these are the things you need to think of. And we are here, we are trying to help you out. I have been working with LSAMP since the beginning. And what we have done throughout, the focus was, of course, on the minority, and it is still is, but we have broadened it. Minority is one of the criteria. But if you are white, you can still apply, and chances are you can get in. So think about it, and we are ready to work with you.
Thank you. Thank you. The last department or school is the mathematics department. Speaker, Dr. Louis Bougre.
Hi, we have several programs in math that you can join and to help you with your careers. So we offer the option for stats and also an option for general math. The stat option will help you focus on actuarial science, which is the highest paying field for with a bachelor's degree. With the math, the general math, you can go to grad school, or you can get a job in industry and government. To many students in our program, in the math program, have actually have done successfully in getting into grad school and finishing. One of them just finished his PhD from Delaware and is now a professor at Texas A&M. And another one is, we have a couple more. One is at Johns Hopkins finishing, and we have two in U Delaware. And I think all of them were part of LSAMP. So being here, being part of the program, it's a very good thing because of the research experience we gain. And all of them actually did research with us, either research at LSAMP or do a summer program in a different university. Like I see Luis Villesis. Can you stand up and show them your shirt? There you go. I mean, last summer you went to Iowa to the program, summer program, and then I just saw this shirt. I was like, oh, you got it there. So you can, from being in LSAMP, you can actually get into this program, the RU program to help you for grad school. To get into grad school, you need a 3.0 GPA at least. You need good grades, and also schools want to see that you did research, and that's why it is important that you go into that path. So if you come to math, we have a lot of people in the math department doing research in various fields. My field is algebraic coding theory. It's what NASA does. When you're sending a message, from a satellite to Earth or from phone to phone, that message is transformed into zeros and ones. And then when you transmit that message, because of noise in the communication channel, some zeros turns into ones and ones turns into zero. So the mathematician's job is to find which one was which. And that's how you get the really, really good pictures in your phone. You get good transmission on TV. All those things are because of math, all the message that are transmitted with no static. So that's what I do, and then this is just part of algebra. We also have many other opportunities. Biostat is one of the fastest growing fields, and a student, any one of you actually can do research in biostat or go to grad school in biostat. Because what they really require is knowledge of calculus, 1 and 2, and then a little bit of programming, and then knowing some science, bio or chem, and then you can apply for PhDs in biostat. So all of you here are qualified. You know, maybe you just need to take Calc 2 and a couple of 1 or 2 programming courses. So we also have in math, developing field and big data, and we're trying to form a program, and this is one of the fastest programs in the country. Many jobs, like millions of jobs will be open and left out there for you to take. So we have developed many courses, and we have a group of 4 or 5 mathematicians in our department who are very well versed in that area. So Dr. Afuf will talk to you more about the programs in biostat. Okay, go ahead. Thank you. I mean, in big data.
Dr.
Hi. As you know, we are at the beginning of big data revolutions, and the data are doubled in the world every year, and every day we generate over 2.5 quintillion bytes, which is 2.5 times 10 to power 19, very huge number every single day. It is too complicated, too disorganized, too unstructured, too large. And how can we make sense of that? We can make sense through big data analytics. And this is new discipline that it is emerging, is not only about technology and tools, but about new ideas and new approaches to solving and understanding and analyzing data. And for that, we are creating new program at math department with the help of other departments like computer science faculty are helping us designing and improving these courses. In fact, next semester, we are offering 2 new courses that one of them called Big Data Computing, and the other is Statistical Data Mining. And these, as you know, in every revolution, there are lots of opportunities, and it is your opportunity to start. Everything is raw, everything is new. Every step that you do, it will be contribution and can be a new way of starting big research projects. That's it.
Let me say one more thing. For big data, you don't really have to be a math major, because I was looking at some job description that just want people knowledge of like data visualization, for example. This is one of the courses we're going to offer. So you just have to take whatever program you're in, just take a course or 2 in big data, and there might be a job out there for you because you have knowledge of this new field.
I want to thank additionally, the administration has been very helpful of this program. Especially the dean, providing sometimes the food, sometimes a place where we are. The entire administration is very supportive. At this time, if you have any questions, there are mics you could use. I was just wondering if you have questions you can ask any of us here. So you can. Go ahead, speak.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Samdi, and I just have one question for you guys. Do you really have to have a 2.0 to go to the graduate program?
Could you repeat the question?
Do we really have to have a 3.0 in order to to go to the graduate program?
Minimum.
Yeah, most schools want that, at least 3.0.
Oh, that stinks.
For graduate, to prepare you, we have, the LSAM has GRE training, one time in the fall and another time in the spring. The fall one is coming up in November. There will be GRE trainers from Princeton Review who will come and actually train you, give you a mock GRE exam to prepare you for passing the jury.
Can I say something about that?
I have a question.
Sorry. Can I just take 1 second to answer that one? I think if you don't have a 3.0, I wouldn't necessarily, and I might be in the minority here, but I would not necessarily say, oh, just give up, you're never going to go to graduate school. I think then you have to try to figure out what your other strengths are going to be, right? So if grades are not your strength, maybe you could build your professional skills a lot more and then make yourself more marketable in other ways to get into graduate school. And really, the key to a good research-based graduate program is getting to know a faculty advisor or a potential faculty advisor well. And I think every individual is different. Getting into a very competitive one is probably not going to happen if you have a 2.0, or not going to happen if you get a 2.0. But just don't, I mean, I guess I might be, my advice is try to find out what your strengths are and go there. Anyone want to comment on
My question is for Matthew. You were talking about the occupational therapy program, and is it necessary that you be a biology major in order to get into research with your program?
For occupational therapy?
Yes.
No, actually, you can be a psychology major,
Okay.
and you can successfully get into an OT program.
Okay, and is it too late if you're already a senior?
Probably the best thing I would tell you to do is to talk to Dr. Nis Matthews over in the OT program here at Kane. She give you a pretty good idea about what that is. Most of the time, if you are you a biology major or?
I'm psych OT.
What?
I'm psychology on the
Psychology,
OT track.
Okay. No, I don't think so. I mean, just find out what the prerequisites are that you're required to take. If you're a psychology major, I know the things that you have to take in biology are like anatomy and physiology. You have to take at least one semester of that.
I've taken
Yeah.
those courses.
So
yes.
that would be, again, like building on what Dr. Shepard says, if, for example, if you take something, and what's nice about this school is, if you take something and you don't do as well as you'd like to, you have the ability to be able to take that course over and replace it as well.
Oh no, I did well.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that if that's the issue, but yeah, no, there's a lot of ways to get into occupational therapy programs. You don't necessarily have to be a biology major.
No, I mean to get onto your research.
For
To be a
occupational
part of
therapy.
your research for occupational therapy.
Oh, I mean, I can't speak to that. I'm not an occupational therapist.
You mentioned that you did a lot of research with occupational therapy, PT,
No, I was talking about the program.
and the PA program.
I was talking about the programs to get into the actual OT, PA, and PT programs. There's nothing to do with the research involved with it.
So, so probably your best bet would be to speak with someone in the OT department, and they would know what research opportunities they would have. Because those research opportunities are probably very specific within that department. So I would contact them. I think you mentioned Lori Chris Matthews.
Yeah, Lori Ness.
Yeah,
in
Lori
charge of the
Ness. She's the
department.
person to speak with, and she would know what faculty are doing in that area, and they may have some opportunities available.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I'm Dusan Barco. I have two questions. One is, so I see that you guys have talked about pre-T, PA, OT, but what's out there for pre-medical and pre-dental students? Also, another question for Dr. Shevitz. You mentioned that you do medicinal plant research. I'm wondering, do you focus on certain pathology first, and then proceed on, on your research, or what's your approach?
Okay, so in the pre-medical, pre-dental, you can be either a BA or a BS biology major. It really doesn't make any difference. The thing that you have to look out for is the prerequisite courses that they're going to require for medical school or dental school. That's really the major thing. So you can be in either degree. Typically, a BS biology means that you have less in terms of interdisciplinary electives. The BA, you have more, which actually make you more of a well-rounded student. But I mean, that's an important part of it. Also, MCATs, obviously, are very important when you're talking about in terms of being prepared for medical school or dental school, DCATs as well. So, but yeah, it really doesn't make any difference. The main thing is make sure that you cover the prerequisites that these programs are looking for. That's really the main thing.
And for me, my personal research is I like to take an ethnobotanical approach, and so I work with local or indigenous cultures, whether they're in New Jersey or anywhere else in the country or also in Costa Rica. And so Alessa and actually Angela also over there, they both came to Costa Rica. We conducted interviews with local medicine men and documented their plants that they use. And we bring back ground up samples. And then in my lab, we test them against bacteria and fungi. And Alessa has been working to try to isolate active compounds over in STEM and kind of trying to figure out what it is that makes the drugs work. Yeah, and so I'm a field ecologist, so this is a huge, steep learning curve for me, and we've been trying to work with some people in chemistry as well to try to figure out how do we understand what makes these drugs or these plants possible medicines, and so it's really kind of connecting that field and the lab work, which kind of is where I am.
Hi, I just have one last question before everyone has to go. So between getting a double major and graduating early, what would you guys recommend in preparation to go to grad school for a PhD? I was looking at my schedule with my advisor, and I do have the option of graduating a semester early or getting a second major within that extra semester. So you, as all very experienced people, what do you guys recommend?
Would you be graduating early as in December, or would you be graduating early as in a May graduation?
It'd just be by one semester, so I'd be graduating by the fall semester.
So you would be a December graduate. Most graduate schools start in the fall. So I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I would say you should probably think about a double major unless you had something really lined up for the spring.
I'd like to second that because in 10 years from now, nobody's going to care that you graduated a semester early. But if you say that you have 2 undergraduate degrees, that's what's going to be what kind of sets you apart.
What's your major?
I'm in the STEM program for biotechnology. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda, and I had a 2-part question, so whoever is willing to answer, feel free to answer. So the first question was kind of like a stem from Dusan's question. I was wondering, for everyone who's pre-med, I'm pre-med, what research would you recommend for us to do in LSAMP? Or who would we be falling under?
Are you in medical technology?
No, my major is cell molecular biology, BS, but pre-med track.
So somebody in biology would be able to find something.
You can do research in nearly any area, and it would look good on your application. Something geared towards geared towards human biology, biochemistry, medicinal chemistry, something geared towards the body would probably look a little bit better than history of paint.
Thank you.
That's very cool.
But, not that that's not interesting, but I don't think the med school application board would think it as relevant as a biochemistry project.
All right, thank you.
They're
Oh, sorry.
essentially all over. Within the biology department, within the chemistry department, joint projects between both departments in the STEM program. There's STEM courses.
Right.
They're essentially everywhere.
Makes sense. Thank you. Oh, yes.
I think there is another aspect you need to consider. One is the research you can do here. You may probably continue that when you go to graduate school. That's a possibility. But the other possibility is you might change and get into another type of research. Why am I saying that? Because as a graduate student, you may be funded by the professor who is going to be your advisor. So that advisor would probably tell you that I have this type of research and I have money for it. Would you like to get involved? Then you would look at it and decide whether to get involved or not. If you decide so, you have a chance of studying for free. In most of graduate school, you might probably pay the first year, the second year, then it will likely be free. So these are the things you need to take into account when applying.
Thank you. Those were very, very helpful answers. And the last question was about entering the LSAM program. This is all very new to me, so I was wondering, is it kind of like a thing where everyone who wants to join can join, or is it more you speak to someone specifically about the research you want to do?
Anybody in science and mathematical science except the medical.
Okay.
The medical, if you are majoring in physical therapy or nursing, that is not accepted. But anybody in all sciences and mathematics and architecture and management science, I have a list of all majors, which is probably about 50 or 60 majors that qualify for this program, besides BU being a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. Then you are qualified.
Is it an application process?
There is an application. It's outside the door. You can also go to the website, www.ken.edu/LSAM. You will get the application right there.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Dr. Morelli?
Well, my question is, I'm not a computer science major, but I was wondering if you can tell me more about your brain interface machine or program. I think it's interesting.
So, sure, I'll be happy to tell you more about the BCI, and actually it has a strong foundation in psychology and cognitive behavior. Specifically, the brain-computer interface is something we've had in our lab since I want to say about 09 and 10. Our first student who worked with it is now at the University of Florida. He is a National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship awardee, which if you're familiar with that, that's quite significant stipend for graduate school, as well as an Intel GEM Fellowship winner and a Google Scholarship winner. So he was an LSAMP student, one of Professor Wobney's most distinguished, I would say. This has been a very good program. But the BCI, what we do is we train it to basically recognize the brain waves of one individual, and through that we're trying to control the drone. We have some problems with landing. It's a little uneasy, but other than that, we've been very good at getting it up and down and so forth. And I do think as we move closer to the Internet of Things and some of the wearable computing that we all envision, this is going to be a big way to control things. You know, you'll walk in your home and it will sense that you're there and you want to be cooled down because it will detect your respiration and your air conditioning will go on. And maybe the cool drinks will be moved to the forward of the fridge so you're able to have something when you open the fridge. Stuff like that I think is going to happen in our environment. One of my students is out here, Ben, who's working on the IoT for us this semester, and we've had a number of very talented students pass through the department and work on a whole range of topics related to accessibility, human-computer interface, and now we're actually trying to take the drone and fly it over and get it to map images in support of cybersecurity and some other activities. So, hope that answers your question.
It's important. This is probably the end of the program. Maybe Solange can take pictures of the professors. And thank you for coming, and I appreciate you being here.